Okay, so let's start with a reaction to a home ownership video. Okay, this is what I haven't watched it. This is what I think they will say. There's American flag, so I think they're going to say it's the American dream to own a home. It's the start of the country up till today. Currently, the cost to own a home from 2012 to 2019 is high. Okay, there's not a lot of inventory and people still want to buy a home, so the cost is up there. However, mortgage rates are currently low. The cost to borrow money per year is very low. It's the best time in American history to borrow money from 2008 to 2020 to buy a home. They might do that's a great way to force savings and to grow equity in a home. That's usually the talking point. So it's forcing you to save money by paying a mortgage. Soon you're in, after 15 or 30 years, you'll own your own home. They're probably going to touch on that young people aren't buying as many homes. There's actually now a debate on whether young people should be renting or owning their own home. So they're probably going to mention that. Once again, not a lot of inventory currently available. There's not a lot of homes, and so the prices are higher. That there are costs to owning a home. I would expect this video to say that it's not all peachy roses, unicorn happiness, that it costs money and there are headaches to owning a home. And perhaps also that owning a home locks you into an area. I think they're going to say something about that. There might not be enough time. This should probably be under what I think they won't say. I don't think they're going to mention that if you're in a state with property tax, you actually never really own your own home. That home ownership is a myth. All you ever have is money in your home, because every single year you pay property tax to the school and to the city / town. And if you don't pay that, they will take your home and kick you out of it. So if you're in a state that has property tax, you never own your actual home. You're always paying to the government. I don't think they're going to mention that. I don't think they're going to mention that upkeep takes a lot of your time. And yes, it costs money to run a home. Okay, they might get that. But the time involved, time is money. And if you are buying a home, you are using some of your time that could be used to make other money. So there will be a time involved. And I don't think they're going to get in the trade-offs of the main difference between renting and home ownership is space. Owning a home gives you more space, and renting, and even renting a floor of a home, is less space. So the key difference is what you are really getting and paying more money for with a home is extra space. I'm pretty confident they're not going to mention that. Okay, let us get into the reaction. Here we go.
When you hear the phrase, the American dream, what picture comes to mind?
A house. Even if you're in the city, owning your own apartments. Not everyone knows this, but you can live in an apartment, but it's actually yours because you buy it in the city. But as we say, there's taxes, so it's never really yours.
For a long time, the classic version included a white picket fence, 25 children, and of course, a house.
Yes, this would be the flight away from the cities and into the suburb living in the United States of America. The idea of a fence, a yard, a home in the suburbs. That was very popular for many, many years. There's always a shift of where people want to live, whether it be farm, suburb, or city.
The importance of home ownership is still embedded in American culture.
True.
7 in 10 adults say they want to own their own home someday, and yet actual home ownership has dropped to its lowest level since 1967.
Yes, this is one of those things that's embedded in just growing up. It's like, do you want a nice car? Of course you do. Why? Well, it's just I grew up wanting a nice car. Do you want a home? Yes. Why? Because I grew up wanting a nice home. I've seen it in the TV. I've seen it. I've read it in books. It's just part of culture that you automatically want to own a home, and you want a very nice car. Whether it's financially good for you or not, it's just accepted. So what do we have here? 63% home ownership rate. So only see, the reality, according to them, is only 63% of Americans actually own their own home. Okay, so reality is a little different, even though so many people say, oh yes, I want this, it's normal. Well, is it really normal when only 2/3 are actually doing it?
The biggest culprit, those pesky millennials with an 18% decrease since 2004.
That's one. So young people aren't buying homes as much. Got it.
Or that are young
American
people just being
dream.
foolish?
Got it.
Or are they reacting rationally to a changing economy?
Do 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 do.
In theory, owning a home still makes a lot of sense because it kills two financial birds with one stone.
What?
It's a place to live and a long-term investment. Every time you make a mortgage payment or the value of your home increases, you're saving money for your future self. It's like a piggy bank you can sleep in.
Yep,
but the
forced
world
way
is
to save.
changing in ways that make this scenario harder to pull off.
Younger people have more debt than previous generations, mainly thanks to student loans.
Okay.
The average amount that a graduate owes has tripled in the last 25 years, which
Okay, so they're using the 7,000. This is exceptional on their end. Usually it's the scare tactics when people use 30, 40, $100,000. And in truth, the people with the largest student debts are typically those who go to graduate school after a 4-year degree. And of course, there's always the outlier of someone who racks up $80,000 in debt in 4 years, but that's not the normal. So they're using realistic numbers here. That's impressive.
means that many young people already have a house-sized debt cloud hanging
True.
over them without even having an asset to sell.
As if that wasn't bad enough, millennials have a larger burden for retirement. In ye olden days, the average American could expect 3 sources of income to support them in their autumn years.
Okay, they're going to go into the 3-legged system of retirement, one being a pension from your company, one being Social Security from the government, and one being your own savings. And they're going to say that pensions are gone, the first leg, Social Security is unsecure, and so then they're going to say that millennials now have to put in more of their money every single year for their only guaranteed leg left, their own savings. That's where they're going. Guarantee it. That's where they're going here.
A pension,
Yup.
Social Security,
Yup.
and personal retirement
Got
savings. But thanks to shifting labor trends and shrinking unions, pensions are quickly becoming a thing of the past, and it's giving this 3-legged stool a major wobble. And
Yup.
since we can't expect Social Security payments to substantially increase anytime soon, younger people will be expected to make up the difference with larger retirement savings,
Their
which
own
means
savings.
less cash on hand to put towards a house.
The
Bingo.
shifting labor market has also led to more pressure to be geographically flexible instead of being tied down to one location.
Okay, so houses lock you into an area, and in today's world, we want to be, they're saying, mobile. Got it.
And the importance of travel for young people is at an all-time high. In the US, millennials rank travel as more important than home ownership and report they're more likely to set aside money for that rather than buying a home.
Okay. So interesting that what people want is different. So if you don't want a home as much as traveling, you're going to spend your money to actual travel and you're not going to have any assets, and so less money for buying a home. I get it, what they're saying there. Okay, good.
Buying a home.
Considering these factors, it's no wonder millennials are viewing homeownership as more of an option than a necessity. So, is it an option that's right for you?
Good
Here
question.
are some questions to ask yourself.
1. Can I get good mortgage terms?
What do we got? Mortgage rates are currently low. They're talking about mortgage rates. Bingo.
Unless you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around in cash, you're going to have to borrow the money and
True.
pay for the privilege. How much you'll pay in interest is determined by a number of factors, but generally speaking, in order to qualify for terms that make home buying a good investment, you'll need a consistent, provable source of income, a credit score of 760 or higher, and a down payment at or close to 20% of the home price.
Okay, well, here's the problem. Your first 5 to 10 years in your 20s, you might have a significant source of income. I get it. You probably don't have a good credit scores because people in their young 20s, when have they ever borrowed money? So they haven't borrowed money, so their credit score is lower. And have you saved up 20% of a home value? Probably not. So whereas someone established buying their permanent home when they're in their 30s or 40s can get a great low mortgage rate, someone who's younger, that might cost way too much to borrow money. It's true.
If you can't meet these requirements, it might not be the right time to buy a home.
2. Will I have emergency money left over? The money you have wrapped up in your house
missed it.
isn't liquid,
Wait,
meaning
I
you
got it.
wouldn't be able to get to it easily if you need it.
Okay, that's I missed it, and that's my fault. I was thinking it, and I didn't write it down here. I don't know why I didn't write it down. If you rent and put money in your retirement account, you can get that money out and use it. Money in your house, when you pay your mortgage payments, it's locked up in your house, and you can't get at it. easily. So you have to not only have an emergency fund, but there's money tied up. Sorry, I feel great shame in not writing that down. It was totally in my head.
So if your AC breaks down or your car needs repairs and you don't have any emergency funds set aside, the only thing you'll have to cling to is debt, which is more of a lead weight than a life vest. So be sure you have at least 3 times your monthly expenses left over after your down payment.
I know what they're doing there, 3 times your monthly expenses. They're lowballing it so people think it's achievable. I don't do that. 3 months of an emergency fund? No, you're not safe. 6 months of expenses is what's safe. And I found myself in the same place just like they are. In order to not turn people off, they say 3 months because they think that people will be scared if you say 6 months. Well, we're here to say the truth. It's 6 months. 3 months emergency fund, you are not safe and you're gambling. And if you can't handle that, then you can't handle the truth. I know what they're doing there though. So, I mean, if you want to think 3 months, that's fine. It's really 6 months. All your payments is your real emergency fund.
3. Can I stick around for at least 5 years?
Yes.
Buying a house that you have to sell again quickly probably won't end well. You have to consider upfront costs like realtors and inspections. Plus, at the beginning of your mortgage, most of your monthly payment is going towards interest, meaning your debt isn't actually shrinking that much. For many buyers, it can be a decade or more before that ratio is even 50-50.
How do these factors shake out in a real-world example?
Show me.
Let's
Run the numbers.
Excellent. Numbers running, you get
This is Ramon. Ramon has a good, steady job. He's been saving money, and he's thinking about buying a house for around $200,000.
Fair. Every single one of those numbers is fair in certain places.
He only has enough for a 15% down payment and no emergency fund.
Oof.
Also, there's a chance Ramon might decide to relocate to New York with his girlfriend when she graduates from law school in 3 years. By that time, Ramon will have only paid off around $9,000 of the loan principal. So if the home value increases by an average of 5%,
Not a chance. A home's going up in 5%, 3 years at 5%, not a chance, okay? If you're lucky, it's a gamble, and you can't rely on that, right?
you'll be able to sell it for a bit more than you bought it for. But that's not counting the realtor fees, property taxes, and upkeep.
If everything goes perfectly smoothly, Ramon will just break even. But if just one thing goes wrong, like losing a job for 6 months, or he has to replace his home's roof or AC.
Roof or AC, they went right to the biggies.
Might want to hold off on buying a house for now.
If you're like Ramon, don't freak out. You could never buy a home, but still be okay financially. There are even some perks, like not being responsible for maintenance costs.
Yep.
Being able to easily pack up and move if you get a better job opportunity.
Locks you into an area.
Investing is like exercise. Some workouts deliver better results than others, but anything is better than doing nothing. So if you're not going to buy a house, it's extra important that you are making investments in other
Retirement
areas,
accounts.
like a 401k or
Yep.
a company that you own.
There's no sugarcoating it. When it comes to home buying, millennials got a tough deal. But you can overcome that disadvantage by understanding your situation and starting to plan for it now.
And that's our 2 cents.
Absolutely excellent. You know what? They got it. I see their bias, and I'm going to say I agree totally, right? So through that whole thing, they say, okay, home ownership is fine, but it might not be for you when you're young. Okay, so I'm going to say it's an excellent video because, of course, they agree with me. And that's how you know something's true. When you see it online and you agree with it, you obviously know it's true. Okay, that being said, that's not true, but it does make you feel good. And through the research that I've done, they are giving a balanced view on that. Homes are good, but they might not be the best. Let's see what we got. American Dream, check. Cost is currently high? No, currently it is high, except we're going into a new post-2020 era, so do your research. Mortgage rates are currently low. They didn't mention that. It's the best time to buy a home to borrow money ever for borrowing money. For savings money, they got it. Yep. Young people aren't buying homes. Yep. There's not a lot of inventory currently. They didn't go into the current home situation, but there isn't. So the prices are going to be a little high, but it is the 2020s. So do your research. There are costs owning a home. Yep, they mentioned that. And it locks you into an area. Good. Once again, what they didn't mention is that upkeep costs your time, and time is money. Young people don't need all the space of a home, and you never really own your home if you're paying property taxes. That's good for this reaction. See ya.